Hello Aries, thank you very much for tuning into your general read. For the main part of the read, I'm using Bonefire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. I want to call it Bonfire Tarot all the time, but it's Bonefire. And the supportive oracle cards, Queen of the Moon Oracle by Stacey DeMarco. I'm already getting like this rush, hurry feel. I'm going to try to keep that together. I like Aries energy. Okay. There's a change coming, which I feel like you might really like. What is that? That's face down. So let's see how that's going to be coming forward. I think this is going to go really well for you, Aries. It's interesting because when it's starting off, it's almost like you're letting go of something. Are you letting go, or are you allowing something that you weren't originally into? Because you got the Hierophant reversed, and then you got the Three of Swords reversed, which for reversed cards, I like both of these reversed, especially the Three of Swords, because I'm getting like you're letting go of tradition. Like you might have had preconceived thoughts or like an opinion about somebody or a situation. It's a general read, granted. It's letting go of preconceived thoughts, and it's kind of like looking at a situation that you used to think was not for you or not going to be good for you and seeing it in a different light. And that's the Three of Swords reversed, kind of like, you know what, I'm not sold on it, but you know, maybe it's not what I thought it was. This is very powerful, especially for Aries, when you look back at something and you're like, you know what, maybe I didn't judge that the way I should have. But you're making that decision. I don't feel anybody's convincing you of anything. You're coming forward to this on your own, and you're personally mulling it over yourself, and you're like, you know what, maybe that's not what I thought it was. Maybe a preconceived notion I can let go of, because other things I've learned of since then don't match up with what I previously thought. You got two cards coming in here. You got the Empress, and you got the it's the Ace of Cups. But there's kind of like this energy of like, you know, the universe is saying, here's what's really going on. Like, it's almost like the universe is trying to push something forward to you, saying, listen, here's what's actually going on here. I almost feel like it's almost like somebody else pushed forward some information previously to give you like the wrong impression about a situation or a person, like they were throwing you off, and you're realizing some information you previously had was very faltered or just flat out wrong. Could have been just flat out wrong. Based on the information you thought was true, that's why you thought the way you thought. When you're realizing that information you thought was true was incorrect, that's changing things up. Because when you realize things you thought were facts were not, they were false, that's different. And I feel like that's why you're giving this a chance. And you got the Ace of Cups and the Empress coming in with this situation, kind of like the world is like, it's almost like the universe, the world is trying to show you something. This is the Empress, it's not the world, but I'm having that feel because it's kind of like it's making it so you're willing to look at it kind of like, well, that information was incorrect, and I know that now because of whatever you know. So there's a lot more hope here. I know it's the Ace of Cups, but it's kind of like a really good feeling here, like something you want to give another chance to. Now, whatever it was, and I feel like for a lot of you it's a person, not all of you, of course, but when you made a judgment or you gave your opinion, like it seemed to be quite clear the way you felt, and they were not expecting you to change your mind. We're not expecting you to change your mind. The strength is here, and it's pushed down a little bit, kind of like they were trying to accept that whoever this is was trying to accept that you were just not interested, and that's just how that was. And they didn't think they had the power to change your mind. And the thing is, other things came around and you found out other things, so maybe you might, but they don't know this starting off. Starting off, they're like staying back. It's almost like they got the information of like, you're not interested, you don't want to be bothered, and they're just like, okay. So they're staying back and they're leaving you alone. So this is how this information this is how the situation is going to go into the next phase to start. Like, they're just respecting that you don't want anything to do with them, and they're leaving you alone. It seems to be how it's starting. The change comes in with the King of Coins. Change comes in with the King of Coins, and this is your energy at the top, the Knight of Cups. Because there's a thing about Aries. Aries is very... To me, there's a lot of honor with Aries. To me, there's a lot of honor. And when you've seen something incorrectly, and you're like seeing, I saw that fact that turns out to be false, and now I'm seeing other things, and this is actually something different. And you're like, you know what? I misjudged this. It makes sense why, but I misjudged this. You have no problem owning up to things. No problem at all. You're like, hey, I'm going to go back at this a different way now. It seems to me, and maybe I'm biased, maybe because I do have some Aries, like I got the Aries moon going on there. Owning up to it, like once you realize something didn't go the way you thought it was, owning up to it's not a thing. You're just like, I'll deal with it. I'll address it. I'll own up to it. I'll just do it. Knight of Cups on your side, kind of like, you know what, I'm happy to say I was wrong. I'm actually I almost feel like you actually are happy. You're like, I'm happy that wasn't actually what was happening here. I'm actually happy that this was not correct. I'm happy that I was wrong about that. It's almost like I'd rather see this in a better light, and now that I see that things in the past were incorrect, that information was false, I'm actually happier. I think this is much better. I'm glad that was wrong. The King of Cups, nope, it's the King of Coins with the change is telling me, like, this change is like you're giving this person a shot. You see them in a completely different light. But there might be a balance to that. I'm not seeing the influence of another person, but somebody else might have fallen from your graces because of this, just to be fair. So I don't know how that's factoring in because they're not really showing up here. Somebody else might have, like, proven themselves less than worthy in your court. I'm just saying. Now, there's a very strong feel here of things balancing out because I feel like you're coming forward to this person. Like, you want to balance the situation. Kind of like, I know these things were wrong. I feel like I went forward a little harshly in the past because this person leaves you alone. They know to stay out of your way, and they do. I feel like you're coming back towards this person like, hey, I want to make this right. I want to say what I've found out and just own up to my own actions. It just seems like an Aries thing to me. Kind of like, well, I know that was wrong now. I'm just going to own up to it. I don't know. Again, I could be biased. The King of Cups shows up in the environment. This person is extremely happy. They're keeping themselves together about it. Like, they're not, like, yeah, they're not losing their mind, don't get me wrong. But the fact, like, this means a lot. Like, this means a lot to this person that, you know, you really saw the truth. And it really, like, I feel like they're impressed. Like, they're really impressed. Because in their mind, most people would not own up to such a thing. Most people would just kind of ignore it and move on. Like, oh, I was wrong. Oh, well, and move on. The fact that you're, like, not only addressing it, but you're coming forward and saying, I want you to know I know the truth. I want you to know that I'm aware of what's actually going on here. They're really impressed with you. Really. Like, they don't feel like they have to tippy-toe around you anymore, but they're careful. They're not gonna test that anytime soon. But they're really kind of impressed with your energy, the fact that you're not only addressing it, but you didn't have to. In their mind, you didn't have to. And they're really happy that you did. Now, whatever this is, whoever you're dealing with, you're making a very positive impact. I feel like you have no problem with this person. You have no problem with this person. I don't feel like they have a problem either with you. I'm seeing you're very peaceful with the communication after this. I actually feel like this person you might be a little nicer than you would be to most people. But if that's the case, like, you might have in the past been a little harsher to this person than you thought was necessary. So in your mind, it's kind of like, well, you know, I'll be a little nicer than I normally would. I feel it because I'm getting the Queen of Swords, but I'm getting that, there's that dove, that pink dove, kind of like, you know what, I'm going to balance this out the way I feel like it should. I was a little harsher in the past than really was warranted, so I'm going to be a little nicer than I would normally be, just to kind of balance it out, so I feel like, you know, I'm kind of making up for that. I don't see a lot happening between you and this person, but when you talk to them, I feel like you're fairly nice to them. nicer than you normally would be. I also see them very much like liking that and, you know, trying to honor it. Kind of like they're aware that you can be they're aware that there's a reason you're doing that. They're not like taking it for granted, and they're not expecting it to last forever, but as long as it lasts, they're enjoying it. I'm getting the Hermit card, like there's not a lot happening right at this point, but it just seems like you're getting along quite well. Like it's almost like mending bridges, if you will. Now, this person, they do really like your energy. They did originally until something went funky. And they kind of left you alone because they thought, well, you're done with me, that's how it is. Then you came forward and you rectified the situation. I'm getting the will here with the self-reflection, kind of like they're not really sure how comfortable they can be around you. They're not really sure. Like they're taking it step by step, very slow baby steps moving forward. They'd like to be around your energy more, but they're kind of like, they're being very careful because they're like, they don't want to take advantage of something because they're like, if I misstep, they're kind of feeling like if they misstep with you, you'll quickly just kind of snap them real quick. They're nervous a little bit because they do respect your power and your authority. Not that you have to be in a situation where you have that over them, but they're like, if you don't like something, you're not going to be shy about it, and that's kind of what they're feeling here. They're slowly coming forward. There's good things coming with this person or people. Person feels more person. I know it's general, but you know, it feels more like a person. I'm getting there's going to be a lot more things coming together with you and this person. There's a lot of positive things. For some of you, if this is a romantic interest that you're giving a second shot to, it feels like you're correcting the energy. And then there's like a period of time where it's just like you're on good terms, but you're not really communicating very much. This person has to get used to it and understand what's going on and get more comfortable with your energy again. But if that's the case, the foundation has been corrected. And it's going to take some time, but once they get used to you again, once they're comfortable with your energy, it will come forward. I'm getting you're going to be considering possibilities with this person. If it's not romantic, whatever the connection is with this person, I really feel like you want this person around too. This person looks a lot better to you now. Now that you know the truth, I feel like you're looking to be around this person more yourself. It could be a friendship, it could be a coworker, but I feel like this is one of those things where this connection with this person has been, it's almost like a karmic debt has been paid. It's kind of how I feel. And it's kind of like a lot of good things can come of this. You directly addressing this, like a karmic debt has been paid, is what I'm getting. It's almost like a spiritual lesson has been successfully achieved. You've done your part by addressing it. Now them being able to heal from it and move forward is like what's required for them to spiritually move forward. I feel like you're leaving that door open. I feel like this person will become more a part of your life, but it's going to be a while. It's going to be like at least 3 or 4 months before you really start to see that. But I do feel like this person's going to come into your life more, and over time, they're going to become more and more an important piece for you. More of an important piece of your life. So I actually like how this is going. It's just very interesting because I feel like you're really flat out impressing this person. You're really impressing them because they're like, most people wouldn't. And the fact that you're just kind of like, hey, I was wrong and I just want to say something, it's really impressing this person. They're just really kind of blown away because they don't feel like most people would do that. They would just ignore it and just pretend like it didn't happen. But you're coming forward and saying, hey, that's a very strong spiritual growth moment. That takes a lot of spiritual strength to do that. Even though it's Aries, and I know it's biased, but I seem to think Aries does that anyway. It still takes a lot of spiritual strength, and that's like a spiritual growth moment. That's really a positive, good thing. All right, I think I'm beating it to death, so I'm going to let it be there. Thank you for watching. If you'd like a direct reading from me, shoot me an email, jamesforastral@gmail.com. That's James, the number 4, astral@gmail.com. Thank you.